out prominently to me, and where it was more of a concentrated effort to teach me, was after I watched the movie Selma back in 2014. And my parents kind of sat me down, and they wanted me to realize how close the movie was in time. And they said, you see that man that was walking with Martin Luther King on the bridge? Yeah, he's a congressman. And I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 years later, that's when the sit-in happened on the Congress floor. Yes. And it was like everything kind of came full circle there. So I've always heard about Good Trouble, but, you know, when I was raised with my parents, they never really told me, like, hey, go and make some they always told me to stay out of trouble. But this was the first time that they were like, nah, it's okay. You can go ahead and do what you need to do.
Wow. And Makayla, just to do this round robin, when did you first learn about John Lewis?
Wow. You know, I really appreciate this question because for me it's really powerful. Coming from and being born in Philadelphia, of course, people don't think that, you know, civil rights or even talking about racism and things like that, that is as prominent on the northeast side of the country. But going to school in Philadelphia and having African American history indulged into our curriculum, my earliest knowledge of John Lewis was in third grade, and having that intertwined into my curriculum. Yes. It's a movie called Our Friend Martin, and we used to watch it every year at my public school. Yes, my public school. And it's about two kids, one white, one black, navigating life together. And it tells their story about them learning about the civil rights movement through the eyes of Martin Luther King Jr. And John Lewis is a character in the movie, and he represents the young activists of the time. So he was a very prominent character in that movie, and it shows how he was a participant in the Freedom Rides and then other key moments of the movement. So it really reflected his real-life involvement in, you know, these events. And that was something so transformational, but I have to also piggyback off of what Adrian said. When Selma came out and being able to watch that movie, it really kind of like full circle looped everything that I've learned watching the same movie, Our Friend Martin, throughout the years, and really tied, honestly, it really helped me tie myself to John Lewis's fight, because when he started his activism, was no older than how old I am right now. So it's really powerful, and I feel it kind of presents what, you know, the Trump administration is so afraid of right now, because I've had this intertwined into my education, and because I've been able to gain that knowledge through the creativity of a movie, and learning that in my public institution, I now am more enabled than ever to advocate and educate others. You know, advocate for myself and educate others. So, yeah, I think it's really powerful.
Awesome.
Makayla, you just unlocked a memory. I have forgotten all about Our Friend Martin. That is, I don't know if anybody else here also watched that. That is whoa. I used to watch that all the time in school too.
Oh, wow. Those
connected cartoons. My mom gave me that video. That movie taught me how to be friends with kids at a school that was predominantly white for a while. And I learned that, hey, they're not bad people. They're not all bad people. So, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Man, I'm glad that I'm not the only person to remember that. That is amazing.
Isn't that something about how knowledge, and that's why, these attempts to ban teaching Black history, to ban Black history books, to ban John Lewis books, to ban Dr. King, to ban Rosa Parks, to ban all of our history. That's why this is so nefarious, right, you guys? Dane, isn't that, just a tragedy that these schools around the country, led by these MAGAites, in their government, are doing these evil things?
Yeah, if just one of us loses our rights, we've all lost them.
Yes, and that is so true. Right? I want to give a shout out to everybody who turned out yesterday, and I know that they said they're going to be out every day protesting that horrible concentration camp in Florida. And saying that it's got to be shut down. They got 700 people, Daryl, in that concentration camp, and over 250 have never, ever, ever had any encounter whatsoever with the law. They've never been charged with anything, never arrested anyway, never even detained, and they got these people living in this brutal, ugly, unsanitary, conditions with barely, being fed halfway. I mean, it's just horrific what they're doing. So that brings me to another question for every one of you. What, as you are working as this leader, and believe it or not, we're in our last minutes of the show, so this will be your final comment. Dane, what do you hope will be some of the demands and some of the outcomes of your event?
So I hope we act to save our democracy and not pass the, quote, SAVE Act. Well, I just want to see youth in the spotlight and actually represented in our country, because the politicians of yesterday keep saying we are tomorrow, but I think it's time to show them we are today. And we can all write our own stories, but together we can write history.
Thank you. Same to you, Josh.
Yeah, so I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want people to realize that you don't have to be by yourself with making a change and being a change maker. Again, I'm amplified by what I've learned from TJC and learning that you got to cause some good trouble. You got to ruffle some feathers, but more importantly, you got to have the solution after you ruffle the feathers. And so
there you go.
We got to make some solutions to what we do. And I got to thank the amazing attorneys at Fairs, Riley, and Pitts, because they have already been in place for us in case anything happens on the 17th. But we want to be prepared to cause good trouble, because Congressman Lewis would have wanted that to happen. So, yeah.
And Adrian.
I'll be honest, the thing that I'm hoping for the most is for a true coalition to be formed where we just begin to work simultaneously towards the same goals. But now it's like everybody has what they specialize in, rather than all of us trying to do our own thing. A great friend of mine brought up a question to me saying, if the work got done but you got no recognition, would you be willing to still do the work? And it really questioned the purpose as to why we do what we do. Do we do it for the limelight, or do we do it so people can really prosper? And in coalition, it's very difficult to make sure that everybody is a chief. But I do hope that from this, we get a true coalition, a collaborative effort that's able to make such impacting and lasting change in Georgia that it spreads like wildfire across America.
Wow. Makayla, in 1 minute, your what you hope for.
Yeah, so in the spirit of John Lewis, I hope that people will resist with purpose and power. That doesn't mean silence. That doesn't mean being passive. It means righteous anger, right? Because people are angry, but channeled into collective action. It means marching with our elders and our youth, making things intergenerational, because if we don't do things together, then we will never get to where we're trying to go. So I hope that, generations are really getting to stand arm in arm together, and it means doing that with dignity and strategy, because our opposition is organized. We can best believe that our opposition is organized.
Oh, yeah.
So we must be even more organized. And like my peer said, every generation has its moments to rise. This is ours. And we don't have to wait for permission. We don't need to fit into a broken system, right? That we can build a new one. Whether you're 15 or 50, there is a place for you in this fight. And as Congressman Lewis said, when you see something that is not right, you have a moral obligation to say something, do something. So that moment is now.
Thank you so much, Daryl. Take us home. And also, Makayla, congratulations on your award that you received. Thank you for all that advocacy. Daryl.
Barbara, what a phenomenal show that we've had. We certainly want to thank Dane Culbreath for what he's doing out there in San Diego, California. Josh Raby, what he's doing down in Birmingham, Alabama. Adrian Consonery for what he's doing over in Atlanta, Georgia. And Makayla Myers for what she's doing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Big shout-out and thank you to Tim Wise with AAPF, and encourage people to go to aapf.org to find out about that summer camp. Folks, if you have not already decided what event you're going to on July 17th, go to goodtroubleliveson.org, goodtroubleliveson.org. You will pull up a map. You'll be able to see the over 1,600, near 1,700 events that are going on all across this country. And you can select, in the words of Josh Raby, you can select where you want to be the bridge walker. Which bridge do you want to cover that's in that community? Be that bridge walker that stands up to protect democracy. We encourage you to go to goodtroubleliveson.org. As we like to say, folks, everybody, no one can do everything, but everybody can do something. If you cannot participate in person for whatever reason, go to the Transformative Justice Coalition Facebook page, and you can attend the national broadcast at the flagship that will be happening in Chicago, Illinois on Thursday. That broadcast will begin at 6:45 p.m. Central Time and will go until approximately 8 o'clock, 8:15. Join us. Go to goodtroubleliveson.org. Find out that event near you. Join the event. Folks, it's time to get off the sidewalk, get into the streets, get into some good trouble, and be that bridge walker that Congressman John Lewis spoke about. Until next Tuesday, noon, Eastern Standard Time, peace, everybody.
See you Thursday. Bye-bye.
The preceding program was paid for by Barbara Arnwine.
There are everyday actions.
Agnes was in deep trouble with the IRS.
I owed the IRS a lot of money.
She found out about Optima Tax Relief.
They guaranteed me that they were going to help me out the best that they can, and they did.
Optima stopped the IRS.
Optima Tax took care of everything.
Are you in deep trouble with the IRS? You might want to listen to Agnes.
I would refer Optima Tax Relief to anyone.
Call Optima right now for your free consultation. Call 800-811-7033. 800-811-7033.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
News Talk 1450 and 95.9 WOL with the Carl Nelson Show. Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. Reverend Al Sharpton keeping it real from 1 to 4 p.m. And the Tavis Smiley Show from 4 to 7 p.m. Download our mobile app and take us everywhere you are or listen live at WOLDCnews.com. The news and issues that matter to you most from Carl Nelson, Reverend Al Sharpton, and Tavis Smiley on 1450 and 95.9 WOL. 1450 WOL, Washington, D.C. 95.9 W240DJ, WMMJ HD3, WDCJ FM HD3, and worldwide at WOLDCnews.com.
The views and opinions of the following show do not necessarily reflect the views